Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm literally just off the boat. I've just arrived from living in Singapore for 30 years, and I've just moved to London. So it's really great to be here. It's just like arriving on another planet. So what I want to do is, I work globally with many different organizations. So it's whether I'm in Cambodia or Vietnam or London or New York. What I just want to share with you guys is just some of the impressions, what am I hearing, what am I feeling, and my background's psychology and behavior change. And I know I'm like the other generation, but I've got a 32-year-old, so I do try and keep like an open mind and don't get hung up, and I'm really anti this whole millennials do this and the older generation do that. So I just want to challenge that in the first place to say people are people, and honestly, great learning that the younger generation expects is great learning for all of us. And I wish my generation were more demanding. So when I was thinking about how do I coin and capture, and just share some of the insights, these three words came to mind. So on the one hand, I do feel, and I think that's the running theme the whole evening, it's about impact. So I think that's what we all want to do. So the two words are really, on the one hand, there's insanity. On the other hand, there's integrity. And I know I'm being a bit dramatic, but I'm Italian, so just go with me. And I can't use my hand, so this is even more of a struggle. So basically, I think the theme that all of us, I'm just using different words. I'm using more corporate speak. But basically, at the end of the day, what is our purpose? What's our impact? And I truly believe, like when I get calls from clients that I've been working with for 10 years, like maybe I can just say Standard Bank or whoever, Standard Chartered Bank, HP, whatever. And they'll say to me, okay, so we've got this amazing budget, and they just try and sell you on the budget. And we just want a 2-day program, and you're going to turn our branch managers into CEOs. And it's like your eyes are popping out of your head, and you basically say, seriously, give the money to charity. Like, I'm fooling you. And any vendor or partner that's going to give you the impression that you're going to turn these poor guys into CEOs in 2 days, I mean, I think every CEO on this earth is going to be so pissed off thinking that they've got to where they are through 2 days. And I think, again, that's a common theme, that all of us have been sharing. Because basically we've got money, we've got effort, we've got time. And it's a bit like the supermodels. I know I don't look like one, but I also think I'm not going to get out of bed, kid, unless you're going to really make a difference. I'd rather just lie on the beach and do nothing. And that's what I honestly say to a lot of the teams that I work with. Genuinely do nothing. If you're not going to make a difference, don't waste the time, energy, and impact. So there's two kinds of islands that I come across. And the sad thing is the people sitting on the insanity island, it's very old school, command and control. They genuinely believe, they're heartfelt and they're really trying to do their best. But honestly, their time and effort and energy, you do question in terms of the true impact. And then there's the other island, the integrity island, where people are more mindful. I'm going to not trying to get all very ethereal about it, but I do have lived in Asia. So I think the whole, and don't just use the word mindful, but they really are thinking and designing and really considering what is the impact, and they're engaging the people. And I know the question keeps coming up. I mean, frankly, who knows? Like for the Nando's project, I worked with the founder and the partner in Asia. And we just listened, the kitchen crew, the best people to tell us what the hell they needed to do and how they could be more effective. So we literally got all the teams from across Singapore and Malaysia. I just worked with those two countries. And we got them all together, and they were so happy and so proud that we actually asked their opinion. And in fact, when the original founder came to visit, the biggest compliment he gave us, to the CEO and myself, was, your names have never come up. The whole learning experience as an expedition is seen as belonging to the employees and that they created it. So that was like the biggest compliment we could ever get, which was what our intent was. So I think the word, if we had to have a word cloud for tonight, it would be purpose. And I know it's all these words, but I think everything that we're sharing, you can drill down into very practical, what you do day by day in terms of your role. But what I found is fascinating, where I've even seen $6-10 million projects in some of the bigger banks, where they're investing in technology, like literally $6 million. And all that money, nobody can tell you what is the destination model, what is the impact the technology is going to have. They can just tell you that it's AI and it's cool and it's the first HR project, that it's cloud-based. That's what they see as being the cool thing, and that's the impact. So it's really, I mean, when you walk around the corridors and talk to people, the minute you start hearing that everyone's running this race and going somewhere, spending lots of money, bringing in all the consultants, getting all their teams busy and active, but there's no predefined purpose. There's no way of measuring, what is the impact. And also, all the enablers are not aligned to anything because we don't know what the impact's going to be. So how can you align all the enablers? So basically, on the other side, the simple answer to, I think, a lot of the questions we had is if you don't begin with who are the people, what's the purpose? I know it sounds so inane, and I think that's what all the speakers were sharing, using different words, but I'm just saying at a sort of big picture, big words kind of level, is if you don't have a destination model, if you don't understand what is the purpose, what is the big picture impact you're trying to have, if you can't translate that into this is what they're going to learn, to do what, to behave, these are the behaviors. So I use learn, do, to achieve something. So we design from achieve, do, learn, and the learners consume, they learn something, they do it, and then they share what they've achieved. So I think everyone's touched on that in one way or another. And I'm just going to go to a bit of an ethereal level, but like when you walk into a Nando's or a restaurant or a hotel or even into a tech company where you can actually feel that there's a shared purpose. It's not about training. It's about there's a shared purpose much bigger than training. Training is really in service of that. The learning experience is in service of that. So when you walk into an organization, I don't think any of us need a psychology degree to figure that out, that you can actually feel it, you can see it, you experience it. So I think that's what our purpose is. Our purpose is to be uplifters. If I had to make up a new word for us, there's so many jargon words. And I think, as you said earlier, there's a whole range. I'm not knocking people that are running 2-day training. Knock yourself out, do it. But let's not delude ourselves that that's really, making a difference. And it's a proven thing that when there's a shared purpose with less effort, you can achieve greater results. So I think that's really our purpose. If we can create, so as a lot of the other speakers said, it's not about content. It's not about the courses. I'm not knocking those. There's space for content, there's space for courses. That's part of the whole experience. But at the end of the day, we're really crossing over from this blood, sweat, and tears. My generation probably created that, but blood, sweat, and tears, old island kind of command and control, to where are we truly empowering the learners? When you create self-organizing teams, like again, I just happen to use Nando's, but when a Nando's restaurant manager sees himself as this is his little business, he's running this is his team, he owns it, he lives it, has that got to do with us? No, it's the whole culture, from the founders to everybody, the business heads, the area managers, everybody believes that and they believe in them and they support them. That's the kind of stuff we've got to be creating. That's when the magic happens, is when teams are working together. And I think that's what our missed opportunity is when we get hung up on the next 2-day training, the next course. How do we create self-organizing teams that are learning and adapting every day? To me, that's the power of people like ourselves. So if somebody asks me what I do, I love saying, confuse the shit out of some of the corporate CEOs, but it's just about how do we co-create. It's not about us doing it to people. If you're doing it to someone, frankly, you've lost the game. So it's about co-creating uplifting spaces. And when you just take the time and trouble to connect with your audience and you make them feel that you're here in service of them, it's not that they're attending your training, but actually you're here to serve them. They've got a job to be done. I love that word in technology, which is JTBD, whatever it stands for, but it's job to be done. Everyone's got a job to be done. If you're not helping me get my job done, then frankly, rather get out of my way. So that's what I believe is, how do we create those spaces where there's ongoing learning and performance improvement? So finally, this is the quote from Albert Einstein is that I don't teach anyone, I only provide an environment in which they can learn. And nowadays with technology, with work-based learning, with teams that are truly, I mean, some people will say, oh, people aren't motivated. I'm sorry, but actually, we've got a natural capacity to learn. We've got a natural capacity to be motivated. So if we create a safe space, and what I always think about is, this is my quote, which is, don't teach me, let me learn. So if we can create the ecosystems aligning people, purpose, and performance, I think that's when we're winning. Okay, I'll stop there.